Thanks a lot for coming back to Free Run Speed. This is Dave Jewell. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the purpose of Free Run Speed and give you a little information on my history. So the general purpose of Free Run Speed is to find where you are struggling and to get that free speed back up to you. Because it could be anything. It could be the shoe, it could be hip structure, it could be so many different things. And I help runners every day to find that. And so that's what I do. Go out all day, help runners either one-on-one or in groups or at a coffee shop. Just sitting there and listening to someone complain about their running, sit and talk to them and give them tips. So that's really what Free Run Speed is. Because my background is running shoes, and I've worked in running shoes my entire adult life, there is an emphasis on what is a running shoe and what's great about new shoes or not so great about new shoes. And so that's why I do all these shoe reviews, is because I've been in the running shoe business my entire adult life. Now, one thing you may be asking yourself, or at least something that I see out there on YouTube or on the internet in general, is how the heck do these people do all these wear tests? How is it possible that you can review 5 shoes in a week? How did you run in all those? So, and I get that question all the time as well. I get that question like, how is it possible you can run in all these shoes? So I'm going to give you my exact process of what I do. Start by saying I have been in the shoe industry for most of my adult life. I worked retail for 16, 17 years. And in that, the running shoe brands would come to me with a new shoe. They'd give it to me, give me 2 or 3 weeks to run in it, and then ask for feedback. So I did that for years and years and years and years, and built up just basically a process of how to do it. I was able to give good quality feedback back to the brands on what they should do with that particular shoe. Because of that, I rarely ran in one shoe for a very long time. I was constantly putting on a different shoe to run in, because it was all brands that I worked with. For almost 10 years, I worked for the brands. Specifically, I worked for Adidas and Zoot, and I was in charge of running shoes. And because of that, I ran in all of the shoes that we were developing. I ran in the competition. Specifically, if we were trying to build a shoe that was close to a specific competition shoe, competitor shoe, I ran in those shoes. That's where my knowledge base comes from, is knowing shoe construction, going to China, changing a shoe on the factory floor, then putting it on and seeing what that change does to it, and running in different shoes all the time. So now I take all of that experience and put it into these shoe reviews. I find a shoe that I want to run in. I'm not going to review every shoe out there. Notice I don't have ads or anything like that. I'm not going to run in every shoe out there. I'm going to find the shoes that I want to run in, the shoes that really interest me, and I'm going to run in them. And typically what I do is I give them 80 to 100 miles before I put them out for review. I run roughly 35 to 40 miles a week. So that means every 2 to 4 weeks, I'm going to put out a review of a shoe. Every so often, I will ask a friend to run in a shoe. I'll ask my wife to run in a shoe and do the review that way. But for the most part, it is a lifetime of experience in running shoes boiled down to me just running in a shoe, and I'm not thinking about what it if a shoe is good for me. I mean, there are shoes definitely that I choose because I really want to run in them, and I want to see how that shoe works for me personally. So there's definitely that, but I'm really thinking the way I've always thought is, what's the general market? Who's this shoe built for, and does it deliver who that shoe's built for? So that's why when I talked about Pegasus Turbo, I talked about this tape. The Pegasus is a universal shoe. It should work for a lot of different runners in a lot of different types of running. But with that tape, it limits who can run in it because it totally limits the amount of space that's in the forefoot. So that's why I talked about it. It works great for me. The shoe works fine. I've got a narrow, skinny foot. But I know that tape on top of the toe box is going to limit who can wear it. So that's my process. It's shoes because I love running shoes. I've been working in running shoes my entire adult life. But I love running shoes because I love running and I love runners. And I don't think we've been chasing shoes our entire running life. So we've thought that shoes are the answer. And what I find over and over again is they're not the answer. That it's a lot more than just a shoe. It's a lot more than minimalism or maximalism or everything else that the shoe companies are throwing at us. And that's why Free Run Speed exists, is because I have lots of experience. I have a pretty good eye on seeing outside of the shoe what's happening in your running. And if I don't have the answer, I know who does. And so that's where Free Run Speed comes in. As an example, I had a 52-year-old guy the other day was having problems for 12 years. Same problems on the same leg, left leg, over and over again. He couldn't get over whatever problems it were. It was an Achilles problem. It was a calf problem. It was a shin problem. He came to me. We shot video. I asked him a ton of questions. And now we're starting to solve the problems. We solved some of the pain immediately because he was in too much shoe. Over the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to solve all the problems. We found the one major problem is that he was unbalanced. And he was putting 4 pounds more weight on his left leg, the one that was getting injured all the time, than he was on his right leg. So we're going to get him balanced. We're going to get his hips working right. We're going to get him in less amount of shoe. And eventually, he's going to find that free run speed. So if you like the videos, if you like the direction, subscribe. If you have questions about your running, put comments below. If you got questions about shoes, that's my ultimate expertise. I know virtually every shoe out there, not in detail, but if you got a shoe problem, contact me. I can probably help you. Otherwise, get out there and run and enjoy it. Have a great run today. Talk to you later.